You know, President Nyerere came to South Africa around 1994-95. You've seen some of the images in my house. And I invited him over to my house to have dinner. And he gladly accepted. I was living in Woodmead. And I called a group like this. I just got a couple of young African colleagues and said, let's come and listen to Mwalimu. We call him Mwalimu, the teacher, because his teachings, and he's one of those people that believed in the concept of Africanism and Pan-Africanism and bringing all Africans together. But now listen to this. One of the advisors he gave us, he said, you guys have just entered, or just about to enter, the era of what you call democracy. We call it liberation in Africa. He says, one of the things that you should not do, or attempt to do, is to undo what has been done. Don't try and undo what has been done. He says, you live in Africa's most sophisticated economy, with interlinkages and complexities. And my wife prepared us some dinner, some pictures of the house where I wasn't sure whether he would eat in a private home, but you know, we sat there and he enjoyed it, orange juice and a couple of drinks. My interest in him was to understand the concept of Ujamaa, which I had studied in one of my master's studies. And he said to me, that was one of my biggest errors. Now, it takes a big man to admit that a policy was an error. And he said, and you guys have to note that the extreme Africanism or African nationalism is in itself there's an inherent danger in it. And he said, don't even, I don't know if you remember a gentleman called Idi Amin. Mm-hmm. He was his contemporary. The younger guys might not remember who Idi Amin is. And you remember the expulsion of the Indian population out of Uganda? Yeah. That had just happened. And he was very angry. And he said, now, you, and I think he was pointing at us, Pan-African, he said, you talk about driving white people into the ocean? You dare do that and see what happens to this economy. I was young, you know. And those 2 points I've just made to you speaks to the question of extreme exclusivism, if I might call that. We spoke about that. Diversity, embracing diversity and embracing the cultural norms of the people that live with all of us, whether they be Afrikaners. You know, when I gave Mandela this book on breakfast, I'd gone to a breakfast with him in Southampton home. He was reading De Beeld. I don't know who knows De Beeld. Yeah. Breakfast, he had an egg and a piece of sandwich, and he was reading De Beeld, and I walked in and he said, oh, Gaby. And then he put it down and said, Madiba, why are you reading an Afrikaner newspaper, De Beeld? And he said to me, what's wrong with that? Because I want to understand everyone's thinking, you know? I'm about to be, no, he was already president. Then and I said, no, one of the things, and then of course we were sitting there, and the next thing, just on the lighter side, Ehbert Kathrada, who was with Mr. Mandela, drives in the driveway, and we were talking about, me and him were having a conversation about how they arrived there, and they were struggling to balance the wheelbarrows. Now me, as an old bandit, you know, as a young kid, was just showing them how this thing gets done and stuff. And Kathrada was the youngest of them, and I think he had the softest shoes, and you could not. And Kathrada walks in as I'm saying that, and he says, Gaby, let's not talk about Indians in that way. He said, you are becoming a racist now. So then, to crown it all, I asked both of them to sign a book, 2 books, they are in my safe. Mandela's inscription is all in Afrikaans. Dr Gaby, dit is 'n plesier vir my. You know, in savor Afrikaans. And he signs the book. So I took the book and read it. I couldn't understand some of the stuff that was. But that was a lesson that I was being taught. That even within the Afrikanerdom, there is some good we can derive out of it. Yeah. So, colleagues, young brothers, some of you are old enough to be my sons. I plead with you to embrace diversity, even in your businesses. Gone are the days, and when I say diversity, I mean even across the Balkanized borders. There is nothing wrong in doing business with a Mozambican or Botswana or a Zimbabwean or Zambian fellow. It's all about how we can get our continent recognized again as the powerhouse as it used to be during the ancient days of Timbuktu. You know, if you study the story of the old universities in West Africa and what came out of them, you'll understand what a powerhouse we were. You know, I just come back from Athens 3 weeks ago, and I have seen, and I worked in Athens in 1980, by the way. From 1980 to 1981, 82, I was working in Athens. And I had to revisit because I've been married 52 years with my wife, so we were doing a little, you know, anniversary. And the guy who was showing us around told us stories that I've always suspected. That some of the stuff that is in Athens, Greece, was actually removed out of Africa and taken to Athens and shown as, you know, Greek, the beginnings of civilization that started in Greece. But in fact, a lot of that, because if you look at the structure of how the Acropolis was built, or even the Parthenon, even if you go to the village of where the Olympic Games started, and you look at the crafting of the stone, this is what, for example, the Romans did after they took over, because at some stage the Romans did their own crafting. You realize that the stone was crafted exactly in the same way the pyramids were crafted in Egypt. So we are a great people. We are a people with a civilization. We are a people with ancient history. Never, never, ever undermine the fact that you come out of great intellectual and a civilization that really did exist. But let's do better than that. This issue about Israel is not so much the issue now. You don't fight him. No. There are issues about, it's still a major issue. We need the land, right? But the concentration should be on creating industries that we own and showing a bit of muscle in the economic sphere. Because if we do that, then it is easier to acquire that land. And finally, can we all go and vote next year?
This can't vote.
Please, I don't say we vote, but you know, just vote and vote intelligently. Thank you.
All right, can we give a round of applause for I want to thank you.
Before you thank him,
Okay.
I'm not sure if you all know that last year Dr Gaby was given an award,
A lifetime.
a lifetime award as well, by former President Thabo Mbeki, who is the Chancellor of the University of South Africa, as a former Robben Island alumni, or rather alumnus.
Alumnus.
Yeah, so in November last year he was given that award. amongst other, I think that was the last
It was the
award
first
that-
one. The second one was this year
Yeah.
at the
BPI was live.
at the BPI
Oh, the
Awards
BPI,
with
yeah.
Ricky Fasini
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Meleta who wasn't there.
and Meleta
And Pizza. Don't forget Pizza.
Yeah, and Pizza Musima.
Yeah.
And he
And
also
Nana Mafuma.
Mm.
he also plays trumpet.
Yeah, he's a musician.
So he can blow a storm.
If you need an entertainer at your next event.
Yeah. So if you're feeling kind of blue,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a great pleasure and really a rare privilege, and I appreciate you guys, and I wish you the very, very best. And you know, I know now that at least I've had another this is my last mentoring moment this year. I call these mentoring moments because from time to time I find it a duty that we need to continue to mentor, you know. And as you mentor, you also get new ideas. You know, I have learned from you. I've learned the new thinking. I understand what the anxiety is coming from. And why we sometimes fret in the middle of the night, because we have an economy that is really in a precipice. And can we all collectively try as hard as possible to stop the destruction of this economy? We're almost bankrupt, guys. We're almost bankrupt. So even in your businesses, try and direct your business more to the private sector, where you'll get paid quickly. Because I don't say don't serve the government. This is a private conversation among friends now, okay? Doesn't go out of here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. I think on behalf of all the gentlemen that have been here, we say it's common-minded gentlemen. We spoke to another gentleman, a senior gentleman, and very much thankful for the opportunity. But you know that there's still a lot in your cabin that we still need to unpack and share with the people. Many of the letters, many of the statutes, many of the things. I want us to be able to grow from a very clear basis. And before you leave, I want to say that we'll be knocking as a collective at your office to be able to knock for us with the people that we need to talk to. Because they'll listen to you, because they respect you. I mean, I was at your dinner and the people that were there are individuals that are powerful and influential, but very much respect you in your space and the contribution you've made into the economy, into the business space. We, as we sit here, are business people, corporate individuals, entrepreneurs that want to see growth. And we want to go and talk to these individuals. These gentlemen, we want to call them to account and say, what do we need to do collectively, strategically, intentionally, for us to change the dime? And in parting, on behalf of these gentlemen, I thank you, and may you enjoy the golf, and may you enjoy the stay in Hartlepool.
Watch out what you say. Some of these things are no longer for free now.
Yeah. So gentlemen, you heard that, right? You heard that. When I say the ticket is how much for the next event.
Okay.
Please know. And thank you to all the gentlemen.
This is for free.
This is for free.
It's not always going to be the same way. But these types,
Yeah.
the mentoring moments will continue to
To be free. But
Thank
the
you so
conferences and the others will definitely make sure that we cater for it. Like the gentlemen have honored, they've made sure that there's food. Gents, if you can give yourself a round of applause, because if it wasn't for you, the tickets, and I want to thank, Dame Concepts, Ratabile, and Spiso. Thank you very much. It's not the end. As I said, that we are looking at 11:30 to 1800. I want us to get to know each other around what we do, what the different businesses. It's just Doc is really straight for time. He should have left 2 hours ago.
No, I have just sent them a WhatsApp that there's
There's an emergency.
I've got these guys that don't let me go. and
Great.
to me, this is a passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely,
You know,
lovely, lovely.
I
No,
shall
thank
see
you.
them when I see them. So I'm still here for a few more minutes.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So we've done all the formalities and thank you. I'm just gonna go around the room in less than 1 minute if I can just hear what each and everybody does.
Yeah.
And please buy the book.
Yes.
You will buy the book and I will get it signed by Doc and I'll deliver
Yes.
it to you. Okay, all right. Let me just get around the